What's up, Mad World? It's me, Coach Sess. Sad news in the world of MMA, mixed martial arts, combat sports. Bare knuckle fighter dies after being KO'd in a recent fight. And I wasn't aware of the fighter, per se, just the situation. So I decided to go take a look at, the fighter's background, his record. And what I noticed is that, the fighter had an upside down record. This has been something that's bugged me for many years. We have to stop putting fighters with these upside down records on cards just as a precaution. I don't even care if you give them adequate competition. There's a reason why they have upside down records. There's a reason why that their last 5 or 6 fights, they've been KO'd. There's a reason why there's a gap, in terms of activity. Those things aren't good because you're just getting older every day and you don't grow back the brain cells from concussions. Seeing these types of things just really bug me because it's something that we can control. And I know you don't want to say, hey, the guy needs to make a living, blah, 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 blah. So we don't want to deny him. And that is the sport itself, where we've got to figure out, what do we do with these fighters after they retire? What do we do with these fighters when they should retire? And so when you see these fighters who try to come together and create some type of union and some type of organization to protect the fighters, this is why they're doing what they're doing. Whether you agree with it or not, you have to understand the intent. They want to protect the fighters. As much as I love what Anderson Silva has done in his last 2 boxing matches, I'm still concerned that Anderson Silva might not want to be out there fighting. At the same time, they are matching him with adequate competition. He's fighting guys roughly his age. He's fighting guys roughly his skill sets, his abilities. But there's still a point where we don't want to see Anderson Silva fighting. It's just risky. And just because a guy can pass a physical leading up to the fight does not mean that he won't suffer from the long-term effects after. We've got to build a better house. We can't just say, well, when he worked for me, he was okay. This is like the drunk, who can get through the day. He's not okay, though. He's still a drunk. And we've got to do a better job of protecting our industry, reputation-wise, but also just recruitment-wise. Gary Vee says, it's not who you hire, it's who you don't fire. We can't keep these guys around inside of our sport that are a risk to themselves, they're a risk to the sport. And you can almost understand why you don't see Dana White taking in a lot of older fighters coming into the UFC. You see, whenever you see stuff like this, and I might be emotional because a guy died, the emotional response does tend to happen when something happens. But you can look at that situation and say, well, I'll see why. Everybody has the potential for great performances. We shouldn't have fighters dying inside of the cage or the ring. I am Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.